You're listening to Pivot to Thrive podcast that inspires and educates entrepreneurs and unhappy 9 to 5ers to get more out of life and create an abundant life with intention and alignment. My name is Dr. Priya, founder of Pivot to Thrive and Soul Designz, best known for creating financial independence through digital products. And I share this show with like-minded people who share their top strategies to help you fast-track your success. Please use the timestamp in the show notes to jump to the section that you need the most and join my private Facebook group using the link below to get access to member-only content about mindset, manifestation, and success. Now, let's get started with today's episode. Thanks everyone for joining me today. I officially welcome you all to the session. I think this is my 5th meetup in the new year. It's been amazing, starting from manifestation masterclass to how to start YouTube in 2023 and marketing series. And I'm just breaking it down to specific audience. So people who wanted video marketing, I had a separate masterclass on how to be on YouTube, how to do video marketing. And podcast is an entirely different, kind of market, entirely different kind of mindset that's required to start a podcast. So that's the reason I thought I have to have a separate session on this one. So today, basically, there are 3 main topics that we are going to discuss, mainly the basics, as in why do you want to start it at all, and how can we actually target and create a podcast for business purposes. So obviously, if it's a leisure, if it's a hobby, it's a totally different scenario. You need not be too strategic. You need not have lots of plans in doing this. When you're doing it targeting towards business, getting more leads, getting more sales, building authority in your niche, you have to have a strategy plan in place. And obviously, all of these social media marketing or online marketing that's available today, we have lots of free options to get started today. There's no excuse. There's no reason we have to procrastinate or we have to stop ourselves from doing whatever we want to do. There's so many tools that you can just get started today. Okay. So how I started podcast, I'll tell you all when I share my story. Now, I just quickly want you all to use the chat box and type what is one thing that you want to achieve by starting a podcast. Just one word. I'll have the chat here for me to review. Chantel is a life coach for adventurers. Ooh. Live on the road 90% of the time. Did we meet in another meetup, Chantel? I remember your niche. I think we did. Okay, you're looking for followers. Jane is looking for influence, followers. Trish is teaching Gotti to build a community. Amazing. It is really crucial that we have a plan or an outcome in mind. Like yesterday, I had a reel that said, don't drive traffic to a web page and just leave people there. It's more like a blind leading the blind. Unless you have a targeted outcome in mind, there's no way your customers know what they want to do. Okay, they've landed there. What do they do with your podcast? After they listen to the podcast episode, what do you want them to do? So you should have that final outcome in mind as you drive traffic, or even when you plan to drive traffic. So that is why every piece of content you create, irrespective of the platform, irrespective of the type of content you create, it is really crucial for you to have that final outcome in mind. Okay, I'm going to post on Facebook today. What am I trying to achieve with this one post? Am I just building authority and trust? Am I wanting people to follow me? Am I wanting them to sign up to my email list? Am I wanting them to join my Facebook group? What is that one outcome? Don't tell them, go to my link tree. I've got 10 links there, and do every possible thing. So it is the last thing that you want to do if you don't have a targeted outcome. So I have some questions and I want you all to answer these questions as you go. So before this 1 hour ends, you will have a clear idea on how you start prepping to launch your podcast and what are the different planning that you have to do before you do. So I want you to take away all these key information, plan everything. All you have to do is go hit record and start recording. Okay. I mean, I'm really not exaggerating. It is really that easy. If you have a smartphone, that's all you need to get started today, because that's how I started. Okay. So, with that introduction, not a lot about me, but I have to tell you why I do what I do and how am I eligible to talk about all these things. I started as a very random, curious soul in the online business world. Migrated to Australia in 2016. I'm an academician by qualification and profession. Was teaching in an Indian university for 9 years. That's the only job I did. When I moved to Australia, obviously I had to, pay my bills. My first job was in a betting industry, in a call center. Worked with Australian punters. Fun. Huge, culture shock. But it was interesting. But then when I was really trading time for money and I was side hustling as a tutor, I was like, I have to find a way where I'm not trading time for money. And that's how I got into the online business world with 100 USD investment. That's the best investment I did, with a 30-day ClickFunnels challenge, one funnel away challenge. That $100 gave me the opportunity to see the possibility of monetization in anything and everything. Me being an academician, who had only that focus that I can only make money in the academic industry by tutoring, by writing, helping people with their research paper and assignments. I could not think outside of that box. Okay, so that was one outcome that I achieved out of that one investment. And then I started investing in courses, coaching, and tried lots of things, and then found out, okay, I love coaching people. I love training people. I love mentoring. That's my jam. So I niche down into business coaching. Business coaching is such a wider umbrella. So when I audited my current clients, past clients, what is that one thing that gave them that results, that multiple return on investment, was digital products. Okay, so digital products is one thing where you are not trading time for money. You do the work once, and then the rest is history. You get passive income. So I built all these different social media following on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, podcast, YouTube, everything, just as a passion. I would call myself ADHD undiagnosed, because I just do things for fun. Okay, so all those fun had an outcome in mind. For example, my first channel, my YouTube channel, was called Meta Care Tribe. I wanted to create a community of prospective migrants, because my own brother got scammed. So my outcome for that YouTube channel was to educate people who are wanting to migrate to Australia, that I wanted to educate them that they can do their visa process themselves. Do not go and lose your money. So my style, or the content that I wanted to create, was an educational piece of content. Today, I've grown that channel to close to 7,300 subscribers, and I had not posted in the past 11 months. Okay, so that's the kind of organic reach my YouTube channel got traction. And then there was a regional language, 2 or 3 videos I posted in regional language. People wanted more of it, so I started a second channel. And then when you start communicating in your regional language, you get up and close with people. So I wanted to start a podcast, basically to talk things that I would not dare to, or I would not feel comfortable sharing my face on camera. Okay, especially coming from an Indian background where women are suppressed, women lose their freedom, women lose their identity after marriage when they sacrifice so much, for their family and children. So I wanted to speak very closely to those women, the certain things that I was not comfortable showing myself on camera. So that was my reason to start a podcast. Okay, everybody, there should be a primary reason. If you're not comfortable showing up on camera, if you love talking, then that could be your why on why you want to start a podcast. And now, from that reason why I started, it has evolved into a quality lead gen source. Okay, so my primary reason why I started was I wanted to connect with women from India who speak my own regional language. I wanted to share certain things that I wouldn't share on a camera, and I wanted that very, very intimate conversation. And I found that comfort through podcast. Okay, and then slowly my journey of podcasting evolved to completely business coaching and getting quality leads. Okay, the word quality is really important in the podcasting world because the kind of audience you get for podcast is really, really different and strategic from the other YouTube viewers you get, your Facebook followers or your Instagram followers. I'll go into the difference shortly, but this is the reason why I started my podcast, and also the reason how it evolved to whatever it is today. So I don't post consistently one episode per week. I wish I did that. But even with that, right now my podcast download is sitting at 3,000 downloads in less than 1 year. Okay, with just 11 episodes. So you can see the power of organic reach in terms of podcasting if you do it right. Now, I want you to type in the chat, what is your why to start your podcast, or why are you even thinking of starting this podcast today? So these questions and this conversation will basically help you to think a lot about why you want to do what you want to do. Just because everybody has a podcast, it shouldn't be a reason for you to start your own. So you should have your own strong why on why you want to do it. Why do you want to invest so much of time and effort in starting a whole new platform, recording, editing, and posting? So you have to have that clear vision. Only then it'll really encourage you to keep going. So please use the chat option and tell me one reason why do you want to include podcast for your business? Cool. Teach listeners about what life coaching is. Yes. So educational style of podcast. Yeah. Storytelling. That is huge. It's very good SEO for your website. Very true, Jane. If done right, it'll definitely drive traffic to your website. Interest group. I put my hands up to Ron so I can talk to people in my industry I admire, they're famous, and them allowing my personal account, give my credibility to your audience. Right. Podcasting is an excellent tool to connect with your dream 100 clients. If you've never been through the concept of Dream 100, I highly encourage you to Google them. Go on YouTube. Russell Brunson has a whole video on Dream 100 concept. 2023, I've started with my Dream 100 list. Okay, the people that you want to work with, people that you admire, and everybody would love to have an opportunity to be interviewed by someone in through your podcast. So that is a very good reason, Trish. It is a solid why. So I would highly encourage you to start doing what you're doing today. To learn about future careers, investigate job insider information, and share it with all like-minded people. Educational purpose. Very good. Gotti, you've got a very clear niche and your target market. Excellent. Education about being healthy without the hype, which is very much needed today for all of us. Cool. Thank you, people, for sharing. Okay, so I want to set the stage with realistic expectation. Most of my masterclasses, I show these two contents that I created because it's very much relevant to the marketing industry. Any platform you're aiming at, I would always say, don't try to scream out and loud in an already noisy world. Okay, so you have to only think about concepts like how do you stop people from scrolling in terms of Instagram reels, in terms of YouTube shorts, in terms of TikTok videos. How do you make people to stop scrolling and really listen to whatever you have to say? So if you're screaming out loud, it doesn't help much. You have to have that uniqueness, and people have to feel that you are relatable for them to actually stop and listen to whatever you're saying. Okay, so that is one key thing that I really want you all to understand. And also, all of you have this idea that you want to start a podcast, but today, as we speak, 25th of January 2023, you've not taken that step for various reasons. The most common reason being you feel you do not have the right resource, you're not ready yet. You have to have the perfect podcast mic, you have to have that soundproof room, you have to have a studio hire, you have to have the venue set up. Okay, none of that matters. Okay, I started with my Google Pixel phone and the headset that I had back then. That is the resource with which I started. All you have to focus on is the amount of value you give, and all other things becomes really, it doesn't matter at all. So it's really you have the choice to overcome these excuses and take action today. So today is the word. Okay, let's look at what Gemma has to offer. Listeners, the art of relaxation and integration of Eastern practices into a daily life for self love and self care. It's such a much needed niche. I would say I had my own fair share of spiritual journey late last year, and I'm starting a whole new brand this year in the spiritual feminine embodiment coaching. So truly, Gemma, the world needs your message. Okay, so any marketing tool, like I said, I niche down into marketing and sales and business coaching. And I use this concept called attraction marketing. So attraction marketing is where you have the content out there which will build the trust and let people to message you. So you get inbound leads, you get inbound inquiries, you get people asking about your program, engaging with your content. That is attraction marketing. So your role as a content creator, your role as a business owner is to show up. Show up with the right energy, show up with the right attitude, show up with a clear outcome in mind. That's all you have to do. And I always show off with this one post, because this one post on Instagram got me 7 new clients back in 2021. Okay. Because one thing people could say is, oh my God, she can do it all, so I can do it too. So that is the message that people could resonate with. Or if she can do it, she can help me do it. Okay, so this is the kind of message that you want your ideal clients to feel. Very much relatable, and they have to strongly believe that you can help them solve their problem. You can help them move from point A to point B in the shortest amount of time, in the easiest way possible. So that is my core concept of attraction marketing. All right. Now, this is the prep phase. I would highly recommend you all to have a notebook and pen, or if you're using your laptop, start typing. So we already asked this question, why do you want to start a podcast? And in my view, you all have a very, very clear why in your mind. Now let's go to your ideal client avatar. Okay, so who is it for? So I don't want y'all to write women. Okay, any women. So really try to niche it down. If it's for women, do you have an age preference? Are they mums? Are they new mums? Mums with special needs children, single mums, single busy mom, single working mom. So it really niche it down. In this 2023, it's not enough if you just know your ideal client avatar in terms of demographics. You also should know their psychographics, meaning the kind of podcaster they listen to, the kind of influences they follow. Okay, so you know, who do they trust? What is that they are looking for in a guru, in an influencer, in a role model? So really niching down with your ideal client avatar is really important. So I want you to write, who is it for? Is it for moms, business women? Okay. So if you've completed that, I want you to start thinking in anything. Okay. They could be 100 fitness coaches in the room. Each of them have their own zone of genius. Each of them have their own
Mhm.
speciality. So I really want you to think about, why should anybody listen to your podcast episode if there are other, like thousands of podcast episodes in the same topic or in the same niche? What is your unique factor? What is your USP? Why should they listen to you? What does your podcast offer that others don't? This will really help you to think outside the box and think about your value proposition instead of just saying, oh, I want to start a podcast and it is for women. So, really giving them why you stand apart from the others. What is your it factor? Okay, let's me look at the comments. I understand, Goti. Even sound quality is really important. But the reason why I said is, do not wait for that perfect sound and things which you don't get access to until you've made that, transactions in your business. People don't want to invest. So don't use that as an excuse. But I completely agree. Sound quality is really important to reach women who are disconnected from their emotions and so being used to the glow that holds everyone else. Obviously, yeah, we are so conditioned to believe that we have to put others first. High achieving women, 45 to 60 years old, matriarchs of the family, always there for everyone else, but never for themselves. Though I don't fall into that age bracket, I feel that you're speaking to me. They've experienced unexpected major loss and disconnected themselves from emotions as a coping mechanism, which has resulted in physical and mental health issues. So much needed for this generation. Okay, people who want a career change, who want to be prepared for jobs of the future, 3 to 5 years experience. I love how y'all are so clear in what you want. Like people with this age bracket going through this phase and the outcome they want. I love it. Type of woman, and I'm a living, breathing example of where they want to be and have the tools and knowledge to get them there with inspiration, guidance, and empathy. Love it. 9 to 5, value freedom and achievement, be connected to nature. Yes, that's a whole different segment, right? People who are in their 9 to 5, but they want freedom, they don't know what to do, and they want to travel, they want to live like you. So that is a whole different demographic. They should listen to you because you are a living example, you have the background research, and you truly care for people. Busy mom sick of trying to be healthy with plans that give empty promises, too expensive, too consuming. Yes, I'm sold. Okay, amazing. Are we ready to move on to the next phase? So this is the preparation phase. This is you sitting with yourself and going through all these emotions and spiraling down with self-doubt and all possible questions that pops up in your head. So this is where you get the clarity and validation. Okay, this is actually a niche. People really want to do this, and this I want to do this for this segment of women and for people who want this. So very clear and very precisely you've written it, so I love it. Let's move on to the next phase. Okay, so next comes the planning itself. So now that you know the kind of audience you want to attract and the type of the basic message that you want to put out there, it's really important to plan how you want to do and what are the different logistic and things that goes into it. So the podcast style is the first thing that I want you all to think about. Do you want to do like a freestyle, just you sitting there and talking type of a podcast, or do you want to do an interview style podcast? Because they have two different planning. So I do not do a lot of interview style. I started late last year, but obviously with other time commitments, I could not continue that. But interview style requires a lot of planning, liaising with the person that you want to interview, having a separate, calendar link for them to do it, or if you have a set of questionnaires, sending them the questionnaires and everything in between. So, but some people find it hard to just churn out content by themselves, sit and talk. So you can do a hybrid. You can do one interview style and one just freestyle. So what is the podcast style that you want? Okay, so write that down. Interview style every 2 weeks, 30 to 45 minutes maximum. Yeah. Every 2 weeks, like a fortnight style, is really realistic. Trust me. I'm doing a self challenge this January where I'm posting on 12 different platforms of mine into my 2 brands, like 2 YouTube channels in 2 languages, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, LinkedIn, everywhere. And I've been consistent till today, like 25 days. I've done it. I want to do it for this entire year. I want to see how much it compounds in 90 days, because 90 days is a sweet spot where people see that compounded effect when you post consistently. But I'm keen to see that. Podcast, I have to get really serious this year. Freestyle every 2 weeks, 30 minutes. Good. I want us to agree on topics, themes, know what they don't want me to say or ask about. You always can chop it off, edit, Trish. Don't worry too much, but have it be like a chat discussion. So I guess an informal interview. I'm not sure what to call it. Just say couch with Trish or coffee with Trish. Or champagne with Trish, if you're a champagne girl, cocktail, anything. Keep it casual, keep it, I used to sweat so much about the name, and I used to see my first brand was called Meta Care Tribe, but now my membership is called Done and Dusted. People really connect with some simple everyday terms that they can relate to. So don't sweat too much about the name, keep it simple. Okay, hybrid, 2 to 3 weeks, freestyle with occasional interview. Cool. Monthly, 1 hour. Okay, podcast style, interview style, 1 hour. I might go into monologue style, 15 minutes later on, fortnightly to start with. Combination of teaching and interviews. Okay, cool. Amazing, people. So you've got this planned. Basically, what is the style that you want to do? What is the frequency? This will help you to pre-plan your podcast. I would always say, when you're trying to launch, make sure you launch with at least 3 episodes. The reason being, if someone listens to your first episode and you don't know when you're going to post the next one, at least they have 1 or 2 episodes to go and listen to you again. Okay, so the last thing that you want is people being so curious, and obviously podcast does not have the psychology of people hit follow so easily. Okay, so people search on Spotify, people search on Apple Podcast or any other platform, they search for a particular topic, they listen to somebody, if they like it, they go back and see all the other episodes they have, they could give a listen to other episodes if they like. So don't, even YouTube, I would say the same thing. So when you're launching, make sure you batch at least 3 episodes minimum, so people have an opportunity to listen to more of you when they want to listen to you. Okay, and also have at least 1 or 2 in reserve. So if you have like a fortnightly schedule and something like just life happens and you can't post, you always have that 1 or 2 episodes backed up so you can be at pace. Okay, you don't have to stress about it. So when I say format, Trish, I mean whether you want to do an interview style or a freestyle, just you sitting and talking, or you want to do an interview style. That's the oh, sorry, that's the style. Format. By format, I mean whether you want to do a video style podcast or just an audio podcast. Okay, so video podcast is where you actually do a screen record. So if I'm doing an interview style with Trish, so Trish will be on the Zoom screen, I will be on the Zoom, so we'll record the video and audio, so I can post the video on YouTube, I can post the audio strip on my podcast channels. So that's what I meant by format. Thank you for picking that up. So if you wanted to just do an audio style or a video podcast as well, because I can post on 12 different platforms because I repurpose. I don't create 12 different contents. Okay, so I'll tell you how do I repurpose very quickly and easily when we get to that. Okay, so common mistakes. Obviously, we're so well prepared in prepping and planning. Obviously, we are humans and we do make mistakes. The reason y'all are lucky was because I didn't have these little bit of heads up when I started. I wish I had. So the common mistakes in the business podcast world, what people make is the naming of podcast will be so random. There are some women that I follow on Instagram and I want to go check out their podcast, but their podcast name will be so random. It will not have their names, it will not have their brand names that they have on Instagram, and it'll be a totally different name. So when I'm so eager to find them and I'm searching and searching and I can't find them, obviously it's not going to help. Okay, so make sure it is good to have consistent branding and naming. So you can go on Google and type my name, you'll find me on all platforms. So predominantly I am big on personal branding, though I've got two brands called Pivot to Thrive, which is completely business coaching, and I'm launching Soul Designz in the spiritual embodiment world. So but still everything basically niche down to my personal branding. So people buy whatever I sell. I sold a VA package, people bought it. I sell business coaching, people buy it. Done for you marketing, people buy it. Marketing membership, people buy it because they trust me. So the brand name does not matter in this instance. If you're building your brand, then make sure you have your brand name for the podcast. That's what I'm saying. So if you are your business, if you're more inclined towards personal branding, just keep it simple, like couch with Trish, and coffee conversation with Lisa, or anything like that. So just name your podcast consistently so people can easily find you when they're trying to find you on other platforms. And or it is easy, or it is important for you to stick to your brand style guide, meaning you don't have to go to a branding expert, do a whole color thing. But if you have some color codes, stick to those color codes. Use the same picture or the headshot that you use on different platforms, so it's easy for people to identify that it is you. Okay, so some people have brown in their Instagram, they're black on YouTube. So people definitely get confused whether it is you. So keep it easy for people to find you on multiple platforms. And people just post without a strategy. Okay, so every podcast intro should be strategic, should really build that authority, because you will lose people towards the end. You will lose people before mid-roll or after mid-roll. So it's really important. Now, any content style you're thinking about, it could be Instagram Reel, it could be YouTube Shorts, it could be anything. You only have the first 3 seconds. Thankfully, podcast has a much longer time slot, like they're generous because people don't hop off in the first 3 seconds. But when you're creating short form video contents, the 3 to 5 second hook is where you win or lose people. So in terms of podcast, keep your intro really strategic. Tell people who you are. Tell people what you can offer and why should they listen to you. So all that should come very precise in less than a minute. Because don't keep your intro for 5 minutes with music jarring. Nobody wants to hear that. Okay, keep it short, keep it precise, keep it strategic, what you want people to do. Tell them, I've got timestamps in the description, feel free to hop to the specific section you want. I tell people that. Okay, so I've got timestamps in the description or the show notes below. Description is for YouTube, so show notes below. So use the timestamp to jump to the section that interests you the most, so you're not forcing them to listen to the entire podcast, you're being mindful of their time. Okay. And then have a clear strategy what you want people to do after listening to your podcast. Tell them, follow me on Instagram or join my membership, join my email list. What is that you want them to do? Have a clear strategy for everything. Okay. I don't know if I have a slide on that. Okay. Yeah. This is the one I wanted to talk about. So when you are thinking about podcasting strategy, I want you to think about all these things. So one is a clear introduction. Okay, less than 1 minute, but clearly, what is that you want people to know about you? And mid-roll is not compulsory. So mid-roll is basically halfway through the episode, you'll be like, hey, if you love what you heard, were listening to so far, feel free to join my private Facebook group, and that's where I post contents regularly. Okay. Or you can say in the final outro, you can say, I hope you love listening to this content. I hope it was helpful. If you I would appreciate if you can follow, give me a review, whatever you want people to do. Okay, so have that outcome in mind. So introduction is to build authority, mid-roll is to reiterate your authority and your call to action, outro is where you solid tell them what to do, clearly tell them what to do. And show notes is really, really important, especially because podcast being a huge organic platform. Show notes has lots of features where you can have timestamps, you can have keywords that people are searching for. So these little things really add up to your organic business growth. That's why with 11 episodes, I was able to get 3,000 downloads because I did the SEO component right. The title was named with the right keywords that people would search for. Okay. So, for example, um, somebody's niche, which one am I thinking about? Somebody was a women empowerment coach. So women empowerment coach, if your title says women empowerment coach, people might not directly search for women empowerment coach, they might search for a specific topic. Okay. So what is the topic, or what is the question that people would search for? What is the term your ideal client would use? That is how I want you to think, and use them in your title, use them in your show notes. So these are little things that you can do to power pack your podcast for maximum visibility without spending thousands on ads. Okay. So I'm all about organic marketing because it is sustainable for small businesses, solopreneurs, because we don't have a huge chunk of money to allocate for marketing. Okay. And there's always this one mantra I tell people: start before you're ready, because you're never going to feel you're ready. Right. Okay. I'm just going to hop onto the comments to say if there are any questions. My social media platforms are connected to Soul by Lisa Q. So I would just name this as a part. Yeah, that's good. So connected to Soul by Lisa Q. It is really, it's crisp. It's not too long. It's not too short. And it kind of conveys the message, what you want to do. Okay. It definitely has that spirituality in it. It has your name in it. So perfect. I would definitely try to retain that name for the podcast. So show notes, like the description under the title. That's right, Trish. So show notes is like description on YouTube, where you get, to write about, okay, in this podcast episode, and I like it when you write it in third person. Like in this episode, Priya talks about 3 main things you need to do before you start a podcast, and then give timestamps. Okay, 0.00 introduction, 1 to 3 is the first step, whatever it is. So don't think just because you give out those information on, because one of my clients asked me, oh, if I say the 3 key points, some people might just read it and not listen to my podcast. I'm like, people who want value will actually listen to you. Okay, do not always operate from that self-doubt. Oh, what if I lose people? Okay, so don't think like that. The more information you give, the more people tend to trust you and build that relationship. Okay. Now, Why podcast? When you, if you've attended my video marketing or the YouTube marketing thing, I spoke about why YouTube is really important because of the search engine optimization. Obviously, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. People go there. That is a totally different psychology. People go there for problem solving, how to content. So that is big on YouTube, right? People search for such content. As long as you can give them answers, you build that authority, you build it. It's really a totally different psychology to grow on YouTube. Okay. Podcasting is really different. It's very intimate. It's because you don't listen to YouTube videos while you drive, you don't watch YouTube videos while you drive, or when you're doing your dishes. But when you are in the kitchen doing your dishes or cooking, or when you're driving, I mean, I'm somebody who listens to podcasts all the time. Okay. So audio based content kind of really builds that relationship with the podcaster and the listener. Okay. It has that psychological connection where you get that intimate feeling when they speak to you. Like I don't know if you heard about Stacey Bayman. Her podcast is Make Money as a Life Coach. Like I breathe Stacey every day. Like I have to listen to her speak every day. Okay. So there might be some people, like she's given me so much value. Her 200 k mastermind is 25,000 US dollars paid in full. I have not paid her a cent, but I've got so much value out of a podcast. Okay. And this is how people have to feel in terms of podcast. People don't have this expectation in a YouTube video. It's more in the entertainment kind of a psychology, but podcast is more considered as an educational content platform, and you get high quality leads. I would not use the same term for YouTube. Okay. YouTube, you get more numbers. It's a numbers game. But podcast, even if you have few listeners, the kind of leads that you get out of podcast is really high quality, because podcasting itself is not for everybody. People who are in the self-development world, people who want to up level, are the ones who listen to podcast, and it's a whole different psychographic compared to YouTube or Facebook or Instagram followers. Okay. And right now you might feel the market is already saturated. There are, thousands of podcasts, millions of shows with your niche. But trust me, there's extremely low competition compared to others that you compete on other social media platforms. Okay. And in terms of the number of audience, it's growing exponentially. So it's never too late. Okay. And it is one of the best organic marketing, because I would say YouTube ranks really high in organic marketing, because even when you search a term on Google, there's a videos tab that pops up all related content from YouTube. So that's how organic marketing, definitely YouTube is high. But podcast still ranks high in the organic marketing niche. So the way I want you to think about leveraging your effort, and the way I do it, I don't know if I have a slide about repurposing. Okay, here I go. I have it. So in terms of repurposing, the way I do it is I've got my laptop, not these two screens, but just my laptop, my webcam, my microphone, and I have the Google Doc open on my laptop with speech to text. Okay. So when I start to record my video contents, what happens? My video gets captured on my recording, like Zoom, for example, with a screen share. The video gets recorded. The audio gets recorded. Obviously, I can strip the audio and use it for my podcast. I can record the whole video, post it as a YouTube video, break down the entire master huge video into short form contents like YouTube Reels, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok videos, Facebook Reels, anything you want to do, break it down into short form contents. And the speech to text, the content that you get, you can use it as a blog post or a texty content for LinkedIn. So anything you want to do. So you, as moms, as busy business women, or a 9 to 5 with a side hustle gig, the only thing all we have and don't have is time. So I am big on simple systems that you can use to do whatever you want to do. So All you need to have is whatever you have access today. You've got a laptop with a cam, or you have an external webcam. You've got your microphone inbuilt or external. Everybody has access to Google Docs. Just use them. That's all you need to do to start today. So even if you have some Instagram lives or Facebook videos or anything that you've done, just strip the audio from that particular video and start creating content. You do not have to be perfect to get started. Okay. Get started today, make mistakes and learn from them, rinse and repeat, and you'll get perfect. I mean, you don't have to be perfect, but you'll just get better every day. Okay. So that is the way how I want you all to think about it, because we just sit in our head. Okay. We just, the only person who's stopping us from growing is just us, our head, our brain. But we have to understand we still operate from our caveman's brain. Caveman's brain was always scared that we might get hunted. Some animal might come and attack us. And what if I don't have the next meal? So I always operate from caveman's brain, which is scarcity and safety. Okay. So if your brain is not letting you do anything, just slap your brain. It's just my caveman's brain. It's just stopping me from doing stuff. So, and then just start doing it. Okay. Growth always happens when you get into the out of the comfort zone. So that is the repurposing. So you can take a screenshot of this if you want. So these are the list of free tools that you can use to plan, prep, record, edit, and transcribe. So planning, a simple Microsoft Word or a spreadsheet, Excel, Notion is great if you want to communicate with a team, your VA, or the guest experts. Google Form is good if you're planning to capture information from guest experts. Recording audio, smartphones, headphones, AirPods, Zoom, Loom, Audacity. Audacity is the tool that I use to record my podcast episodes. It's got some amazing features. It's free. You can noise cancel them, remove some extra noises that you get. So Audacity is a beautiful tool that you can use. Editing, I use a tool called Filmora Wondershare. I got it, I think, in 2019 or 2020 on Black Friday sale, lifetime license for $50. So I can edit audios, videos, everything using Filmora. iMovie is, people say it's good. I've never used it. But even your phone's audio recorder, that's how I started. Like I said, the normal audio recorder is how I started recording my podcast. So just even get practice to do it. So most of them podcast people do listen to with their headphones. But if you're doing repurposing content on Instagram or YouTube or TikTok, please use audio transcription, because most of them listen to it or watch to it on mute. So if there's no transcription, if there's no text, I don't tend to watch it. So use tools like Headliner. Headliner is a beautiful tool that can transcribe your videos and have beautiful text on your videos. So it is a very good tool. I think I missed about the podcast hosting platform. My bad. I think so. Yeah. Okay. So the hosting platform I started is anchor.fm. Okay. I'm going to type it in the chat. So anchor.fm is a free podcast hosting platform. And the beauty of anchor.fm is once you post, I think, a few episodes, 4 or 5, automatically Anchor distributes your podcast to Spotify, Google, Apple, I think to 10 or 18 different small podcasting platforms. So Anchor does the job without paying anything. Okay. So I used to be on Anchor. I then moved to a paid version of Buzzsprout. Now I'm in a paid version with Podbean, but I think I like Buzzsprout better in terms of analytics. But because I have 2 podcasts, I wanted an integrated dashboard, which Podbean had a better functionality. But if you're looking at a paid option, then Buzzsprout is really good because it gives you good analytics like YouTube about your listeners, where they are from, and the age group, and when did they drop off, what is the peak when they listen to the episode, which episode is performing well, like a live metric. So in terms of metric, Buzzsprout is really good. Um, I don't think I would recommend Podbean, but I've paid them for 2 years, I think. So I'm still with them. And the thing is, once you move platforms, you lose your record. So I had 2,000 downloads with Buzzsprout. Then I had to start from scratch in Podbean. It doesn't get carried over. So that is another frustrating thing. You start from zero again on a particular platform where you don't get to celebrate your 10,000 downloads when you keep moving, like what I did. So that's about the free tools. I'm just going to go back to some questions. If you have any question, please pop it in the window. So speech to text work if you're doing an interview, does it capture the other person's words on the other side of the universe? It does. It does capture them. So when you have speech to text, so you're talking. Actually, I've never tried that. That's a good question. I think it picks up the text. When you have your audio on loud, it will pick up the voice and it will do it. So yeah, I think that's the way it should work. So if not on headset, if you're on a loudspeaker, it will pick up the word and it'll do it. But I'm not sure because I've never done it, but I'm assuming that way it'll work.
Manage permission.
Somebody's talking, sorry.
Reorder.
Okay. To video podcast and also post it on YouTube. Yep, definitely do it, Chantal, because I do that. I do, interview style podcast. Recently, I interviewed someone called Trish Springsteen from Queensland about publishing books. And I did a YouTube video. I repurposed it as Instagram reel, and then I did a podcast as well. That's a good idea to get more eyeballs and, get more traction. So, Lisa, the show notes you find under every podcast itself. So you've got like a banner that shows the audio options, and then you've got a whole list of description. You can go as long as you want, as short as you want. Okay, how do you use Google Docs? So basically, like in Microsoft Word, you have Google Doc, which is an online cloud-based one. As soon as you've got an option called speech to text, as you speak, it gets typed. So there's a lot of revision that you have to do in terms of spelling and grammar, but it's better to start with a working draft than a clear slate. I use Anchor for my regional podcast. I use Podbean for my English version. Yeah, speech to text is there in Word as well. And because I share it with my team, I use Google Doc because it's easy. They can see as I type. Yeah. Oh. All right. So what do you need today to get started, people? One thing that you need to get started today in the chat. Now that we've got information about, how to plan, how to prep, how to record, the tools you need, what is that you need? Oh, I wish we had more time, Heather. Reach out to people who I want to interview. Yes. So come up with your dream 100 list, Gotti. That'll be an amazing way to get started. Please Google, dream 100 list, build your dream 100 list, reach out to them. Anybody would love to be interviewed on a podcast. This is the best way to connect with the people who you admire, who you want to work with, your dream 100 list. Okay, definitely you need a plan. Phone, no questions, but it's so refreshing to have Ethlic Australian do a podcast. A lot of interesting tips. Yes, it is. Okay, so for people who do have struggles with marketing, this year I launched this done and dusted membership option. So it's a monthly membership. It's a co-working space where we block 2 hours in our calendar. So Tuesday evening, 5 to 6, and Saturday morning, 11 to 12 is the time we've blocked now. It's a virtual co-working power hour. You come to a meeting like this, you've got your like-minded people, and you have that accountability basically, where you tell people what you are planning to do, what you want to achieve in that 1 hour, and you time block and get your entire marketing done. I'll be there for mentoring and support. So the first 10 minutes, we aim to have like a trends whiz where we have an educational segment. So you could get access to my templates or scripts. So right now we are currently working with a launch plan template, which has a list of objections that people come up with and what are the different phases of launching. And my done and dusted crew members are coming up with their launch plans for their new offer that they create. So every month they get access to a monthly masterclass, where you get access to various industry experts. And because I've got all these platforms, podcast and YouTube, I have a team that can help me with editing. They also get one featured series. So it could be a podcast or it could be a YouTube video that you get to choose, that you can basically feature your business every month. So it's a no-brainer, $97 AUD per month, where you get access to these 8 hours with me in terms of complete mentoring, complete support, any platform you want. So basically, to understand your business better, the first once I onboard you, I basically have a one-on-one session with you, understanding your business,
I want to call off the
giving you
movement.
giving you complete information
Yeah.
about, I don't know, somebody's not on mute. Okay. So this particular done and dusted membership aims to get all your marketing sorted in that 2 hours, because we don't have all the time in the world. We need support. So it aims specifically at marketing. There's nothing else promised in this particular membership. So if you are struggling with marketing, if you don't know what to post, if you don't know how to get do attraction marketing, and it can be on any platform, any type of content. It could be texty, LinkedIn, it could be YouTube videos, it could be podcast, it can be anything. All you need is a strategy. All you need is mentoring, support, and accountability that is promised. Okay, that's it, people, from me today. I truly appreciate your time, and any questions I can definitely answer for you. I'm going to look up to the chat. I want to look up the text to speech functionality and test out Audacity recording. The neutral sound thing and the volume of me and interview being the same is important for the next episode. That's right. Give it a try. Let me know how you go, Trish. Review all the video content I already have and then make a strategic plan if it can be repurposed. That's it. So just take the meat of the video. You don't have to repurpose the entire video. Okay. In your particular video, if you're going to talk about just 1 minute or 2 minutes that gives massive value, just slice that portion and use them. You don't have to repurpose the entire video. I'm sure you might have a little portion of the video which is massive value that you want your clients to get. So just chop that section and repurpose. You already have enough resource. That's what I'm trying to reiterate to everybody. Okay, you've got the value in you. You just have not put yourself out there loud enough for people to know you and reach you. Create a strategy, review my content and current videos. That's all you have to do. Go back to your current contents, go back to your Google Drive, go back to your backups on your laptops and iClouds. You will find heaps of content that you can just strip the audio today and start doing today. There's no excuse. You all have it already. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Lisa. This has been great. I would love to see you all in my other meetup groups that I'm hosting. Join my meetup group or look at Facebook, and any questions you can email, you can call. Just Google my name. You can find me on all platforms. I used to say you can find me everywhere except TikTok, but I've started TikTok for my second brand, Soul Designz. So you should find me on TikTok as well. Do you use podcasts for lead generation or other monetization options too? So I have not monetized my podcast. I do get my YouTube ads. Both my channels are monetized for YouTube, but I don't make money out of podcast, but I do get inquiries and leads, and one client signed through a podcast with 10 or 11 episodes. So it is really, really powerful. I know it can be a huge needle mover in your business. That's why I definitely feel, especially for the current generation, this is really, really good. Okay. So if you are interested in joining the Done and Dusted crew, feel free to flick me a DM or a message, and I'm happy to answer any questions y'all might have. So if there are no further questions, thank you everyone for your time, and I'll see you all in other future events. Thanks, everyone. I truly hope you enjoyed listening to this episode as much as I enjoyed creating it just for you. Please follow Pivot to Thrive podcast on the platform you're listening to right now. It would mean the world to me if you could leave a review, and I'm so excited to see you on the next episode. Sending you loads of love, positive and healing vibes your way. Stay blessed.